So AH loses big time trying to utilize Angelina Jolie as a way to continue to go after JD, as a way to garner sympathy, considering Angelina Jolie put AH on blast big time, calling her out on BBC, saying, you know that story she likes to tell? Yeah, you can't believe that thing at all. Essentially, what you're seeing here is a move trying to pressure Angelina Jolie into backing AH, basically saying, hey, you know, you're just like me. Yeah, that's not going to work out very well at all. You and I, we're going to talk about that today. Oh man, these are crazy times, huh? These are crazy times indeed. All right, so hey there to all you fine folks on this fine day, by the way. I hope you are doing excellently. You know this is going to backfire. How do you know that? Well, because this isn't the first time that AH has tried to use Angelina Jolie's name as clout. The thing is, in the past, she's never tried to weaponize it for this specific type of thing. Typically, she's just shouted Angelina Jolie out, saying, ooh, you know what? She's my kind of inspiration. When on the other side of that, it doesn't seem like Angelina Jolie really liked AH at all. In fact, it looks like she recognized her almost immediately. I mean, it's been reported that Angelina Jolie warned JD in the past, saying, if you marry AH, that's not going to work out for you at all. That's going to be a huge mistake. Now, that reaction, though, I am sure would be nothing compared to the reaction that Angelina Jolie would have with AH wanting to compare herself to Angelina Jolie as she accuses Brad Pitt. I mean, that mouthpiece media, her mouthpieces online, they're pushing this thing hard. This article, by the way, is from Jezebel. This is one of many articles trying to do this same thing, with them claiming now that Angelina Jolie is already getting the quote-unquote AH treatment after accusing Brad Pitt. The AH treatment, do tell. Now, what's truly messed up about what AH is doing here, and Angelina Jolie, she would call this out too, I'll show you that in just a moment, is that this, though, it gives AH the last word in any claim whatsoever. I mean, we're talking about situations that have nothing at all to do with her. But since we're talking about a female here putting out an allegation, well, somehow, in some way, that becomes about AH. Essentially, this lets her try to relitigate everything every time a claim is levied. And look at how this plays out, too. Her shield media, her PR, they're going to do this every single time. You have the allegations. I'm not talking about the allegations, pro or con. I'm just showing you how they're manipulated. Then you have the last two paragraphs. Again, look how this becomes about AH, and Jolie wouldn't like this. Since the FBI report about the plane ride became public, I've been very nervous about what would arise by another very famous woman testifying that another very famous man had, I'm going to use the words, accosted her. I mean, can you imagine, by the way, comparing the fame of an Angelina Jolie to the fame or the infamy of an AH? First of all, those don't compare, but really the only commonality they need, they're telling you, fame and female. That's going to work AH in every time. I naively hope the public reaction would be different this time around, because people haven't learned anything at all from just a finger pointing at another person. And they say, the reason for that, well, kids. The kids stood with Angelina Jolie, therefore. I'm not commenting on the claims here, though. Then you get this screenshot. This is what happens every single time in a piece like this. You're going to get a screenshot. Oh, look, there's people talking about that. How dare they? Then, just as the public painted JD as AH's victim because she fought back or resisted harm he inflicted on her, look at how flagrant that statement is, too. How the jury They didn't agree with it. The world didn't agree with it, but she gets to relitigate here. That's what she wants, and it's messed up again. This isn't about her at all, and yet now it is. Social media users seem eager to portray Pitt as yet another male victim. This time, the victim of a spiteful ex who's stolen his kids by lying and cunningly hiring a top-tier legal team. Now, then they tell you, well, we looked at a few videos. We looked at thumbnails. That's all we need to know. We're going to throw TMZ under the bus, which is fascinating considering TMZ, they were a hardcore pro-AH, but that doesn't matter anymore. And then they throw all types of social media users under the bus, even saying, when you're commenting, you're thirsting for a Pitt. And well, that gives us serious deja vu when it comes back to the heights of JD versus AH. I mean, it's crazy, right? They made this about her again. Now, Angelina Jolie would not appreciate this at all either. Why? Well, like I said, she doesn't like AH, nor does she believe her. She backed JD time and again. She backed him publicly, in fact, coming out and saying as much that she believed him. You had sources around her that were approaching various news outlets too. One of them approached the BBC, and what they had to say, I thought it was very telling. And the world universally seemed to agree with this. A jury definitely did. Quote, this would be AH, continues to rehash, she continues to revise, she continues to reimagine her description of an event that happened 6 years ago by adding untrue information each time she fails to get what she wants. Her story is constantly evolving. And that's true, by the way. If you look back to 2016, when all of this comes up, the story was much different than what you saw shopped in the media afterwards. It was much different than 2020. It was much different than 2022. And we're told that it's going to change yet again. Just wait and see. This story, you haven't heard all of it. I mean, that's why stigma is associated with AH. Because again, she made claims that not only kept evolving, but these claims, they were so egregious that if they happened, they would require some type of medical assistance. There's no way that you would have walked away from that type of stuff, let alone walked away without going to a hospital. She never shows any problem in the aftermath. She never has to see a doctor at all. Again, the stigma associated with that is very real. And that's not because people, they believe men in Hollywood. It's because people like AH, they're not believable. You can tell that they lied. Again, Angelina Jolie is not going to be happy here at all.